Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. Today, we're going to be talking about the end of the year book tag. And as you can see, there's too many people and there's too many questions. So I'm going to be flying through this, y'all. We're not going to get distracted on any big dumb rants to take too long. So I don't know if we need to be hostile to Anita or Charmaine or Klaus. We can just do it quickly.
I would prefer hostility towards me, Anita, or Pete. We don't want to scare Charmaine and Klaus away from the internet.
Oh, that's true. They've been gone too long.
You know what? Charmaine and Klaus are here from the beginning. We should be scared of them. Actually, I genuinely I'm scared of them, especially for my position if they are back.
Yeah. So, by the way, this whole thing's actually an informal interview process where two of you will be cut permanently by the end of the show.
Spoiler: one of them's Pete.
Always me. I will find a sword. I will fight with a sword through the internet.
Hey, you're gone. I'm Alan. We got Pete here. We got Anita, Evie, Klaus, and Charmaine are from the they're from historical times. But I'm glad that they are back here to do this. So let's go ahead and start with where's the stupid things? Anita, I thought you said you made.
Yes, go to banners, year in review tag folder.
What? There's folders?
Yes, there are folders.
Oh my gosh, I see it. Okay.
So we're actually going to do the first question last.
Okay, your favorite series that you started this year but didn't finish. Pete, go.
All right, so this is the Fencer trilogy by K.J. Parker because
nice.
It's a K.J. Parker one. Thanks, Anita.
Nice. That's a good choice. K.J. Parker's always a good choice. Anita?
You know what? I thought you were all going to mock me because I'm the only one. I did not read much. My answer will be Fencer trilogy. I still have to read Proof House. I assumed you read multiple series. You'll have different answers. Anyway, Fencer trilogy.
Is that the only series you started and didn't finish?
Yes.
Crap, son. I need to look and see what mine was. All right. Evie?
So I am interpreting the question. So I'm making it Tyrant Philosophers because I'm caught up on the series, but it's still going to be ongoing, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned it. So,
but have you read the short stories?
Did you start that this year, Evie?
No, I started it. I started Days of Shattered Faith last year.
No, the question is you started this year.
I know. That's why I said I'm.
Wait, is this for 2024 or 2025?
2024. Oh my God, people.
You kept saying this year.
English is your first language, people.
Evie, did you start
this year? This year's 2025.
Evie, did you read City of Last Chances in 2024?
No, that's why I said I'm reinterpreting the question. I'm reinterpreting the question because I don't have an answer for this.
Oh my gosh. All right, Klaus.
Sega by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, which is a graphic novel series that I started this year, and I've read all of it. There is published yet, so I wasn't able to finish it, obviously. Yeah.
Oh, Saga, that one?
Yeah, Sagas. I don't know how to. Whatever.
Oh no, I was just making sure that I had the right thing. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, Evie, you could have said Earthsea. You started Earthsea this year. Seriously? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I had my questions answered before I started Earthsea.
Charmaine?
The only series I read that isn't finished was the Ill-Mannered Lady series. The next book comes out in May. That was one of my last books of the year.
Nice.
I'm trying to see what series I started this year that I didn't finish.
And somebody said that we are going to, do this fast forward.
We're gonna what?
We're gonna fly through this, and we were gonna be fast because everybody was gonna talk real quick.
Well, I mean, okay.
So, the trilogy, everybody, it's great.
Oh no, well, I mean, I guess a series that can you do a series that isn't finished? Like you started the series, but the series isn't finished.
Yeah, I just did.
That's what I did.
Then probably The Great Silence. The first book is Grave Empire, Richard Swan's new trilogy. I read that in December, and it's not even out yet. Comes out next month, but it is a new series. So that's probably it for me. All right. Favorite series you finished this year?
Oh my God, Pete, you can't sit there and copy all my answers. I
No,
want
we're
to go
going in
first.
reverse. You get to go before him. Charmaine, go.
Okay. So I don't repeat answers for another question. I don't even know what the name of the series is, but this is the first book, Gods and Kings, that I read. It's a historical fiction about King Hezekiah and King Manasseh.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's like 5 books. They're really good.
There's a horse on the cover.
And they're all pretty short. They're not super long.
Nice.
Klaus?
Winter Night Trilogy by Catherine Arden. I finally managed to read the final book this year, and I liked it a lot. So that's that. Yeah.
Nice.
That makes me so happy.
Oh, it's Chronicle
know.
of Kings. That's the series. Sorry.
Evie?
Black Company, Soldiers Live.
Nice. Pete, Anita, sorry.
Me, Anita.
I'm not skipping
Evie, show off my trilogy. I did audio. Okay, Final Architecture by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Easily one of the best trilogies I read. Oh my God, even last book, it elevated the entire trilogy. Best found family trope I have ever read. Everyone, please read this one. Okay. Ouch.
Pete?
The Cicero trilogy by Robert Harris.
I
Okay.
forgot you read that this year.
Right? It feels like it's been so long, but Cicero trilogy was just so fun and amazing.
Listen,
everybody go read it.
It's finished as of right now, Mitch.
I'm changing my answer from the previous question because I did read a book that is actually out, Mercy of Gods. So that's the Captives War by James S. Corey. Series I finished. I mean, can I say like Warlord Chronicles again for the second time? Like, is that?
Let's do it.
Can I do that? I'm gonna say Warlord Chronicles because
It's your channel,
do you know what it's not? The Claudius series.
Yeah.
And that may be the only other series that I finished this year. Hold on, is it really? Dag, yo, that's the only other series I finished this year, and I need to finish more series. All right, well, I don't pick that one, so I'm saying the Warlord Chronicles, which is quite good. So guys, feel free. You can speak briefly about why you chose the thing.
Okay, I was like,
Also,
you're like speed
I
round.
don't know, like, because I mean, people want to know, like, why, like, for example, Klaus, why do you like Winter Night Trilogy?
1 minute, Klaus. Chat. You
Anita.
also
You're
enter
not
your
Klaus.
answers.
You're not Klaus, Anita.
You also enter your answers in the chat. Okay, go ahead, Klaus.
Oh,
Okay. So I only finished, I think, 2 series this year. The other one was The Expanse. I read the whole Expanse over the summer holidays. And I did like that, but I didn't love it. And I did love the Winter Night Trilogy because of how Catherine Arden creates atmosphere. I'm still not a big fan of the way she sometimes writes action scenes and sometimes the endings. But the entire mystical atmosphere that she writes is just awesome, and she can do that like few others can, and that is the main reason why I love that. So it's especially the writing style for me, why I like that series so much.
Listen, normally, if someone else had said those exact words, Klaus, I would be raging right now, but because it's coming from you, it seems like high praise. So I will take it.
It is. And also Catherine Arden is a fan of Dorothy Dunnett, so obviously
She already got.
she knows us.
Kai, who could not be here, lobbies for Mercy of Gods as well as his favorite of series begun.
Okay.
Classic Kai.
I don't believe that, Mitch. Surely you finished the series. Anyway, no, you can talk about your stuff. We just don't want to start like a 15-minute treatise on each choice, or we'll be here forever. Sometimes you watch people do their top 10s and they talk for like 30 minutes about like number 3. And it's like,
I mean, when it's Wind and Truth, what can?
oh my gosh, shut up. All right. Your favorite new author discovered this year?
Pete.
I understood why Pete doesn't want to do favorite book first, because he'll talk about Wind and Truth. Both Alan and I will be angry. That's why he wanted to do it last.
Look, your favorite new author discovered this year, Pete?
Glenn Cook, author of The Black Company.
Yes.
I read like, I don't know, 8 of his books this last year. I got through 8 of The Black Company, and I still have like 2 more to go.
Heck
which is
yes.
really great to finish those last 2 in these next month or 2. Black Company is just a vibe. I like The Black Company actually more than like the whatchamacadoodles, the Bridge Burners from Malazan.
Let's
So I
go.
can definitely tell like where Erickson got the bones of like his Bridge Burners. It's great.
The Black Company is like, a lot of people don't like some of the books, which I understand. The Black Company to me is always better as a whole. Like once you have finished, and Evie, having finished it recently, you can back me up or disagree, I guess. But I think Black Company, like together, what the whole thing does over 10 books is better than any individual book. It's like, it's crazy. Anyway,
I will agree with that.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason other than
What is that
that
noise?
the new book is coming out. What?
Sorry,
I
there's a
thought-
child. I was wondering what the noise was. There's a banging somewhere. The child's in his high chair doing this.
Oh, I thought it was the crinkling because the dog has a crinkle toy
it's
right
in my
now
house.
he's messing with. But yeah,
No,
there's
I'm farming my real estate money.
there's a reason why I already wanted to restart, other than Lies Weeping coming out, but wanted to restart Black Company after finishing it. It's so good.
Sorry,
Nice.
I'm laughing at Mitch's comment.
Robin Hobb, KJ Park, get out of here. Quit pandering to me. Emily Henry, ML Wang, James Percival, Tchaikovsky, nice. Richard Powers, Flannery O'Connor, very cool.
Nice.
More like the Whack Company, am I right? Class, what about you?
Neil Gaiman. I've read Gaiman before, but I've read through all of the Sandman, and I really like that as well. So I'm gonna pick Gaiman here. Really like that stuff. Has a way with words, very inventive, never boring, very creative. Yeah.
What'd you read of Gaiman this year?
Sandman,
Oh,
like the entire comic in December, I think.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. So, want to read American Gods soon. Arrived yesterday, so I might be able to get to that at some point of the school year. Yeah.
Charmaine?
I'm gonna go with Lynn Austin. This is my first time reading her work, and it was just a very cool premise, and like she had a lot of like political intrigue because it's like goes over like the reign of 2 different kings. So I was really surprised by her storytelling.
What's that? Who's that?
Lynn Austin.
Lynn Austin. I did not read a bunch of new authors, which is,
James S. A. Corey technically is a new author.
I mean, yeah, but I'm gonna say Liv Constantine,
Yes.
who wrote The Wife Stalker, which is a stupid book, but I really enjoyed it. I read it so fast; it was so dumb. These domestic thrillers, man, like it's as if someone said, "Okay, here's a genre where nothing has to make sense." Every rule of storytelling can be broken as long as you make it to where people can't stop turning the page. And
Perfect.
that has been my experience for every single domestic thriller that I have read. So yeah.
Okay.
I like Goro in this one. I don't like what Goro is at the end of Yakuza 0, Peter. Like, I don't like, why is he like a freak now? I liked him as the head of the club. Anyway, all right, what's next?
No, Anita, you haven't answered.
Me and Evie
And
did
what's
not
next?
answer.
Wait, what?
Anita and I haven't answered this question.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought, what? Charmaine wasn't last?
No.
No, you went all out of order.
You went
Yeah,
Pete,
you
Klaus,
skipped me
Charmaine.
and Anita.
I went Pete. Oh, sorry.
Because
Anita?
Evie was responding to your Black Company thing,
Oh,
so I thought
stupid
Evie has.
Evie.
You thought
All
Evie
right,
has
you're right.
finished.
I thought Evie had gone. All right, go, Anita.
Okay. I did.
Evie's
I mean, I did read new authors like Robert Graves, but as a writer, I did not enjoy much of his writing. It is dry, and he tends to, you know, move away, especially in Claudius the God. He starts some topic. He was like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you guys about that thing." He completely switches
It's
the
so
topic.
much worse than
Oh
Claudius
my
the God
God.
guy, Claudius. But
Okay.
did you
Anyway.
know that Livia is responsible for every poisoning in American history?
Anyway, so I can choose Robert Graves. Um, this author actually I read last year also. This is the second time I'm reading, but I never talked about this author, so I'm choosing this author. That is Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. Last year I read Palace of Illusions. This year I read Forest of Enchantments. This is a retelling of Indian epic Ramayana. I really like her writing. I'll talk about this book in detail in my best books video. But the way he wrote, I mean, what do you call it? I really like it. So I'm picking her actually. It's not too flowery, but at the same time, prose is very smooth. She reminded me of who is the author of Circe?
Madeline Miller.
Yes, she reminds me of that author. It's not
Have
too
you-
flowery, at the same time, very smooth
I agree,
prose.
Atticus. You said Madeline Miller, and Atticus started going.
Truly your son.
Evie,
Emily Henry.
who is that?
Romance author.
Hearing that
Romance
person. Who
author.
is that?
Romance
He's a
author.
contemporary romance author. So technically, I read.
Christine, haven't you
Beach
read
Read,
one of these? Emily Henry, Happy Place or whatever. You didn't read that?
Beach. What? Beach something. Beach
And
read.
yeah, Beach Read was the first book I read technically by her, but I read Happy Place and became utterly
I'm
consumed
so sick of
And
hearing
then-
about Emily Henry. Why y'all keep talking about her?
because she's a good contemporary romance author, Alan.
Oh my
And
god!
also, this is a pink book, so you might like it.
Look. Does it violate POV conventions? Because let me tell you, Liv Constantine and Pierce Brown are all about it.
Perfect.
Also, Anissa, have you emailed Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni yet?
Didn't you read the flat? Was it the flatmate? The flat share? That's
No,
not Emily Henry?
That's not Emily Henry.
That's Beth O'Leary.
Oh
And they
my
were
god!
roommates.
What's the difference?
Okay,
Yeah.
next.
All right. Favorite new character of the year.
I will go first.
I had a good answer for this earlier. No, we will do this in an orderly fashion. Charmaine, you go first.
Pete will
Perfect.
steal my answer. Okay.
You're before Pete.
Okay.
No, you're not.
It's gonna be Lady Augusta from the Ill-Mannered Ladies Society. I really enjoyed her POV. She's like, I don't know, she's very true to herself. Like she's a character that demonstrates what it means to be like a strong woman without being like the cliche written strong woman, if that makes sense. Like she still has like vulnerability and like things like she's working through, but like she stays true to herself, like in a society that keeps trying to change her.
It's the baby.
So we're going in this. Okay. Liesel from the Book Thief is basically a little girl throughout the entire story, and that is written in a convincing way. And the book is about an horrific topic, but it's still very charming and whimsical in a way. And that is why I choose this character, because that is the narrator of like the whole thing, I think.
Isn't that like doesn't that have the Book Thief have like the highest number of reviews for any historical fiction on BookTube or on
It-
I think so, definitely.
Ridiculous.
Probably.
millions?
Now Alan is invoking his Pete-ness and being very quiet.
What?
Because he's leaned back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Evie?
I will attest to the Book Thief. I read it at the end of 2024, and it is really, really good. But like I put in the chat, I'm just trying to diversify my answers because all these books can apply to multiple prompts. But I'm going to say Titus Groan from the Gorman Gas series. by Mervyn Peake, and the last book is written by his wife, Maeve Gilmore. It's a gothic fantasy. The first book was written actually pre Lord of the Rings, and so it's around the time that Tolkien was writing that he wrote these books, and it's just really, really good, very atmospheric, very well gothic, and yeah.
Wait, so
If
the
you
man's
like-
name is literally Titus Grown?
Literally what I was thinking. Literally what I was
Same.
Yep. So it's about a elite family, the House of Groan, and they
Oh, okay.
they live in the Gormenghast Castle, and the Gormenghast Castle is actually Terry Pratchett references Gormenghast in, I think, if I remember correctly, Equal Rights, and he talks about how the library makes Gormenghast look minuscule, and so you just realize how big the library is. So yeah, just really really cool having that intertextual conversation. But Gormenghast as a whole, Titus Groan's character is really really cool. I like him. So.
I can hear Evie fine, Cat. Okay,
Anita?
I'm going to break rules and give two answers. First one is actually, it is very difficult to choose a character from Final Architecture trilogy because every character, I like every character and how Tchaikovsky gave agency to every character. Almost all characters are my top characters of Tchaikovsky, everything I read. More than Emily from Guns of the Dawn and more than Stenwald from Shadows of the Apt. I
Oh,
love them. But
listen.
out of them, by the end of the trilogy, Ollie surprised me actually. What she did, what actually Tchaikovsky did with Ollie Kit, both the duo. But Ollie became one of my favorite characters ever. And the number two, I really want to highlight this character as well. That is not exactly a character, a historical figure, that is Germanicus from I Claudius. You know,
So,
how
yeah.
much, though Robert Graves, especially after reading Robert Harris writing from Cicero trilogy, I'm not a big fan of Robert Graves writing in I Claudius. It is little dry, but because of how much details he give, especially in the second half, I loved Germanicus. Oh my god, it broke me reading his storyline. I really really loved him.
So Robert Graves probably does the best by Germanicus than anybody. Like Germanicus is so little written about, like even historically, because he dies too early. But I like what Graves does with Germanicus, if if nothing else.
Yeah.
Pete?
So, one, Anita, you were never in danger of me stealing your pick because my pick is Rex from Dogs of War by Adrian Tchaikovsky. All you need to know is that Rex
He's
is a good boy. Rex is a good
Aw.
Dogs of War is about these biomechanical things, one of which is a dog named Rex that has sapience, or no, sentience. Nope, sapience.
Sentience,
It's
yes.
definitely sapience.
Sentience.
Both of those things, even though I get them mixed up, and they are weapons of war that were designed for war. And that book really just delves into what that means and how the world comes to the question of what is a person type of deal, or what personhood means. There's a law court scene in here that's really, really fun. And yeah, International Court of Law. It's cool. ICC or whatever.
So
Also, big weapons.
I read a bunch of books that have characters that I hate this year. So it's not anybody from Gone Girl. Every single character is terrible in there. It's there's like Black Company. I could name plenty, but they're not new. I know Black Company. Project Hail Mary. Everyone's like, yeah, but what about? I'm like, no, boring. Belly of the Fencer trilogy does not enter any new good characters really into the Parker lore. Joshua from the Three Body Problem is awesome. Give me a second, Anita. I know what I read. Hold on. I'm going through these. Anita,
I don't want to forget you to forget.
not the characters in the Dispossessed. Trash
Yeah.
tier characters.
Slander.
If you love that so much, Pete, why wasn't that your answer?
because a lot of great characters that I've read this year.
Yeah, because they're garbage characters. So probably Anitha. It's probably Amnon from Scarab Path. Amnon is one of the old. He's an old beetle type, like from this Egypt analog, and he's just all about duty. And he's just this big guy who is like the head of the guard. He's the head of the royal guard. So if you've seen The Mummy, he's like whichever one of those guards killed Imhotep.
That's such a perfect,
Pharaoh.
comparison.
So
I know the reference.
yeah, Anita got a reference. So yeah, it's just a cool character. It's like it's the Leonidas character really from the 300 lore or whatever. He's the hold the line guy. Really good character, especially when placed against the rest of the characters in Apt. His attitude is just like really different from the educated, quote unquote, more civilized members of his kin. So yeah, so Tchaikovsky as well for me. I'd say Mr. Northway, Emily, Baraki, but I read Guns of the Dawn before, so reread doesn't count.
I just want to say, Aslan, I will die on that hill with you. Yasnik from Tyrant Philosophers is amazing.
No, Merrick Jack sucks. Like I hate Merrick Jack. No,
He's
okay,
the
well, you know what? Buy the new short story collection because the dang Tchaikovsky Tyrant Philosopher short story is Bloody Merrick flipping Jack.
Yes.
Except
Also, it's called anthology because it's multiple authors.
Yeah, whatever. It's only it's Yasnik. It's pre Merrick Jack. And and as soon as it happened, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, can you write about anybody else, Tchaikovsky, in this world? Merrick Jack's not as interesting as you think he is. Oh my gosh. Stop it, Aslan. Stop.
Straws.
Oh my gosh. Stupid Merrick Jack. Anyway, next. Favorite new release of the year. I'll go ahead and start with it's not Nero. And
maybe Grave Empire.
It's not out, so I'm gonna change my first answer back to Grave Empire and change this answer to Mercy of Gods.
No, you're stealing my answer now. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
There was all the danger of that.
The problem is, guys, if you don't read a ton of new releases, then I'll say that's fine. No. Play of Shadows. I'll get off of Mercy of Gods. Play of Shadows, the first book in the new Greatcoats series, is really good. It's all about theater, and none of the actual Greatcoats are in it, but Greatcoats are there. But it's about a theater troupe, which I like. It's really, really good. Pete?
I will try not to steal both Anitha and Evie's answers and say Alien Clay by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This was a super thematic, weird world. Like, just, hey, these humans have a prison camp on this world that they don't know how it works because it just works completely differently from everything on Earth. And yeah, it's super fun to figure out this science prisoner dude, figure out how the world works. And, the themes just hit. So go read it. It's fun.
Is it capital A, capital S about something?
Yes, it is.
Is that a novella or is it a full-length novel?
It's a full-length novel.
Ugh. All right.
Okay, it's easy pick for me because I read only 2 new releases, and my favorite is Mercy of Gods by James S. A. Corey.
Hold on, is that a soft cover? Where'd you get that?
Canada.
I was in India when it came out, so we get soft covers there.
India.
That's a weird flex
Nice.
for most people, except that I don't like hardcovers, and I would rather have that because otherwise, we get the crappier version of books. That's what you just bragged about. Except that I hate hardcovers.
No, this is the superior one.
I agree. No, I agree. But most people like hardcovers.
I
better.
like both.
So I was in India when it came out. My cousin gifted me this, and I had an arc. I was halfway. I read halfway. I read the arc half of the book, and the rest of the book I read from this book. Anyway, this is about this alien race comes to this planet, and actually conquers every planet and takes all species to their world and put them to work as slaves. So every species has to prove their worth. That's how they'll survive. So they come to not the earth. Humans live on a different planet. They come there and take humans as well, and we mainly follow one team of the scientists. So it is I understand why many people did not like it, because these are nerds and most of them actually suffer with some mental health issues. So in terms of povs, it is little depressing, but I did not care. I like the world.
So
I like
people did not like it because they didn't listen to me. Because one, they didn't like it because it wasn't like The Expanse, which I said up front. I'm like, I don't know if it's like The Expanse, but like, and because they're like, well, it's not like The Expanse. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know why you thought it
Read
was
The
like The
Expanse.
Yeah, and
This
then they're like, well, I didn't like any of the characters. I'm like, I didn't like any of the characters either.
Yeah.
Too bad that this book ain't about the characters. Like,
this
that,
is not action packed or not character
no, and the
moments.
characters are unpleasant, but like the aliens feel alien, the
Yes.
danger feels dangerous, and
Yes.
we know the end before, like, we know where it ends up, and just the horrible things that have to happen to get to where we know it's going to end. I'm just eager. I'm all on for the ride.
Yeah.
So
You see, I mean, you are a successful scientist. Suddenly, you found yourself as a slave on a different planet where your aliens are gods. So, how you get through that situation and the themes around that, and the moral dilemma, moral choices people have to make. It is very Daniel Abraham style. I don't know how much Daniel Abraham wrote and how much Ty Frank wrote, but but I loved reading this
I
one.
wish I had done a
It's
review,
fantastic.
but it's too far gone out of my brain space. No, Days of Shattered Faith was also really good. I agree. I was just
One
trying to
last
push more.
point, please. Kai also loved this. On behalf of Kai, also same
Oh
answer.
yeah, Kai for sure. Also, yeah, they're unpleasant nerds, absolutely, and it does a really good job of like kind of trauma survivors. And okay, guys, there are better characters in House of Open Wounds. Like there's a scene, and this I think is the scene that solidified House of Open Wounds as me liking it better than Shattered Faith. There's a scene with whatever her name is, the one from the Divine City, where finally someone in a book did something that an author did something that I wanted them to do. That because normally I'm like, why don't you just do this? Please do this. It would just be sweet justice. Please do this. And then they don't. And then the Balancer, what a good scene. What a good scene. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you have no idea. Pete, you know what I'm talking about, right? Evie, you know what I'm talking about, right?
My head, but I probably would remember it.
The scene with the woman who can take wounds from people?
Yes, I know her.
Okay, well then you've forgotten the book.
It's since last year. I need to reread it, honestly.
Evie, you know what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyway, Evie.
Really quickly, Pete, what were the ones that you weren't gonna take from me or Anita?
I was gonna
Days of Shattered Faith or
Mercy of Gods.
okay.
Yeah, he thought you were going to say Shattered Faith. Are you?
No. Again, I wanted to diversify my answers because multiple books can apply for multiple questions on this. So I'm actually gonna say Cheat again, but both of these books came out this year, both by Stephen Graham Jones. I Was a Teenage Slasher and The Angel of Indian Lake. Angel of Indian Lake is the last book in the Indian Lake trilogy, and I Was a Teenage Slasher is a standalone. Both horror, and depending upon the day, I'm not sure which one I like better. The execution of both is great. If you like slashers, if you like horror, even if you don't like slashers, because I'm not usually a slasher type.
Gun to the head.
Both of these are.
Which one? Which one do you pick? Gun to the head. Which one's better?
Today.
Yes.
Angel of Indian Lake.
All right. Okay. All right. Klaus burns the other one from human consciousness. It no longer All right.
So
I will say that also, just for Angel of Indian Lake, like it's such a satisfactory ending to the trilogy, as well as the ending well on its own. But anyways, sorry, go ahead, Klaus.
Yeah, so all of the books published in 2024 that I read, I hated. So I cannot pick anything here. So the
Which one
last
did you
new
hate the
release from
least?
2023 I liked was Saga Volume 11. So the last published volume of Saga, which was good. But everything I read from 2024 was straight up. I mean, there were some good student papers I graded this year that were good, but we're talking about published books here, so I can't pick these. Every published work I read from this year was straight up horrible. More on that later.
Oh, I missed this from you, Klaus.
Yeah.
Well, someone else in the chat already said that they that this was not a great year for new releases.
Yeah.
Mitch.
Lee stated Marianne wants you to like call them out, name names. What did you hate the least?
He'll talk about them in the disappointment
Yeah.
question. Actually,
All right.
Yeah.
Charmaine.
I did not read any news, so I cannot say anything.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, then let's move on to the next one. Favorite reread of the year. Charmaine, you can start.
Reread. Did I reread anything? No.
All right.
You didn't reread Greenbone?
No.
All right. So Charmaine leaves two of them blank. All right. Klaus.
Feast for Crows by George R. R. Martin, who used to be writing stuff like 20 years ago or something. I mean, this book is from 2008, I think, or 9. So it's I don't know. I have students that were born later than this book has been, so it's just ridiculous. It's not Storm of Swords, but it's still a really good book. But I mean, it's like only half of the book, and the other half of that book is Dance with Dragons, and we don't get the battles at the end of that as well. So it's kind of a limbo book, but the character work is still great. We get to see more of Jamie. We have Cersei as a narrator, which is very interesting, and it's better than watching the show. So yeah, was a good reread.
Why is Danny still in Marine?
Nobody knows because of I don't know, because the pyramid is so nice, and I don't know.
Hanging out with Grey Worm.
They're just waiting for the dragons to grow, I guess, and then yeah, they can use them.
Evie.
Sorry, it sounds like my computer is about to take off from a
Persuasion.
freaking airport.
Persuasion or Spare Cuts Through Water. Those
No.
you reread every year.
Yeah, no, I reread those every year, so I'm not gonna say neither of those because those are the expected answers. I'm gonna say Children of Dune by Frank Herbert because it had been at least 20 years since I first/last read this, and rereading it felt like a brand new experience, and I still loved it. So it's the third book in a Dune series, and by the title you can infer that it's about children of a Dune character. So
Wait, these are Duncan Idaho's children, right? He's Dune.
sure.
Melissa, my wife's best friend rereads all the Anne of Green Gables books every year.
Oh, nice.
Just does. All right, Anita.
I was going to say I did not reread anything, so blank. But shout out to Dale Jones for reminding me. I rewatched Game of Thrones entire show in like a week or so. So that is my answer.
Yeah, when you should have been reading Belly of the Bow, right?
We'll not talk about that.
Pete.
I reread City Last Chances this year, but not House of Open Wounds because I didn't get to it, sadly. So, City Last Chances was great. I love the atmosphere of the city. I love just everything. It's amazing. Read Tyrant Philosophers, guys.
Yeah.
Revolution.
I reread Warlord, and so Enemy of God. Book 2 of that it just slaps, guys. Like I just like with Jonathan Keeble narrating, like it's just so good. That and Guns of the Dawn, which was fantastic on reread, and then Black Company I reread for like the 5th time. So those are my faves rereading this year. I've read no City Watch books, or else that would be on there. Next, biggest surprise of the year. Biggest surprise of the year, Pete.
So this is a surprise because I had no idea this would happen. But The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le
Oh,
Guin.
gosh.
This
And Pete
book
is
came out
left
of
the stream.
this book really just came out of nowhere because Alan was like, "I hate this, Pete, go read it," and I'm like, "All right, let's go."
Just knew you'd like it.
Yeah, you did, and you were correct as the arbiter of truth. I
Oh,
read it and loved it, and I am trying to work on reading a bunch of other of Le Guin's stuff. So yeah.
Right on, Anita.
Okay, finally a real surprise to Alan, and new book, Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I was so surprised of how much I loved this book. I read Night Circus, but I wasn't a big fan. That is very 3-star for me, though I like the writing and I like the world. But this one, oh my god, every line, every word is like poetry. If I say that, I don't read much poetry, so I don't exactly know how poetry is. But you know, everything fits actually. It's a story within the story kind of story. I love the audiobook performance. I mean, it's just I just finished Claudius the God. I was feeling miserable, I was slumpy, but this book, oh my god, I just closed my eyes and it just magical world, everything. I can't say what is this book about actually.
It is the definition of no plot, just vibes.
I I I mean, I guess there is a plot, but it is very difficult to talk about it. This kid, a university student, finds a book in his library and he follows the clues and he enters different. He enters through a door or something to magical world, and from there things happen. There are multiple books, multiple doors, multiple clues, multiple keys. I don't know what is this book about actually, but I loved reading it. Such a magical feeling.
Damn wise. Heroes Die is fantastic. I despised Blade of Tashal. Just despised it. Stupid Dispossessed. Hold on. Winter Night. There we go. Yeah, it should be this. That should be your biggest surprise. Dungeon Crawler Carl. Way of Kings. Aaron Morgan Sleep. Hilarious.
I disappointed Tori.
Heroes Die, Most Precious Cargo. What about Simon loves Starless Sea? What about you, Evie?
I do like
Yeah.
Starless Sea as well. I think I'm very pleased that Anita liked it. Again, I am breaking the rules here. The Iliad by Homer, Emily Wilson's translation, was a surprise because it started me on apparently epic poetry, and also more than the Iliad, Severed Echoes by Anya Dillon, aka Shelf Unstable. This is a self-published first book in a duology called The Veiled Duet. It is a dark fantasy, weird, a la weird fiction, whatever you want to call that, urban contemporary fantasy, and it's really, really good. I have a vlog about it where I read it. If you want to do spoilers, so.
Klaus?
Hellbent by Lee Bardugo. Second book in Ninth House, which is her sort of adult series. I hadn't read a real novel for like almost a whole year, other than rereads. I had only read like One Piece and different graphic novels, and that was the first novel that I finally managed to get into again. And I read that whole thing in a day, so that was awesome. Yeah, it's the sequel to the first book in the series, so can't really talk about it, but they have to get someone from hell, and it's very interesting, and I just love everything about it.
Kingdom?
Sorry?
Better than Crooked Kingdom or whatever?
Um,
Rule of Wolves? Whichever one that won?
The Six of Crows.
I gave 1 star to Rule of Wolves, so obviously it's better than... I mean, that was the other reason why I was so surprised about it, because, I mean, I had read Rule of Wolves, which was the last book she published, and I hated that. Like, totally straight up hated all about it, and destroyed it on BookTube and everything, so that was a pleasant surprise that I liked this book again. Yeah.
Right on.
That's
Charmaine?
nice, Simon.
Mine is The Lord of the Rings. I read it for the first time in 2024. It surprised me in multiple ways. One, I didn't realize how many differences there were in the books versus the movies. So that was really cool. Two, I love Book Faramir. Like, I fell in love with his character. And then three, I didn't hate Frodo when normally I hate Frodo.
Yeah.
But in the books, I actually enjoyed his character. So
This is ones that we were surprised we liked, right? I can't
Yeah.
say like Nero was surprising in how bad it was.
No,
No,
that's disappointment,
I
Alan.
mean,
That's
we can
excellent.
talk about
I'd
disappointment.
allow it.
Otherwise, I'd have picked something else.
Okay. All right. Then I'm gonna say, hold on. Oh,
You can
dadgum.
pick. Okay, I'll shut up.
Yeah. I've got so many for that. Yeah, I know, Anita. Get off of everybody's answers. You're that kid in class who's answering for everybody. Someone else raised their hand and called on, and Anita buzzes
I was,
in.
when I was a kid, when I was reading the books, when I was watching the Harry Potter show, I was like, I was such a Hermione. Even in class, I was like, when Hermione does this, like, she can't shut up. That was such.
Thanks, Hobo Giant, for the $4.99 spot. Yeah, I don't think I'd like the Starless Sea or whatever that is. It does sound like people who like vibes books. That is not.
Yeah,
That is
not
not
me.
me. I guess books that I was surprised that Gone Girl, The Wife Stalker, Remains of the Day by Ishiguro. These are domestic thrillers. Like I guess I'm not surprised anymore that I like them. But like Ishiguro, like that's almost literary fiction, which is
Oh yeah.
boring to me. But it was not boring. I enjoyed it. And I
mean,
do not think I would have enjoyed it had I not been a huge fan of Downton Abbey, because I would have wondered too much about like what is this upstairs? What are they doing? But it helped me. It helped ground me so I could get through the literary fiction sitting around of it all. But it was really good. I enjoyed Remains of the Day greatly.
I mean, you could argue Remains of the Day is also a domestic
no.
thriller. No,
It's not. There's no
Domestic.
there's no word. Yes, it is. It is a domestic calm.
Thing.
Like there's no thrills. There's not even one thrill in it. Not even one. No, Thomas. No, Samwise. Thomas sucks. Thomas is better only than who's a stupid girl that tries to get with
Eowyn.
Tom that tries to get with Tom. I forgot they have multiple names in there. There's Thomas, there's Tom. The stupid maid that tries to get with Tom, and
Daisy.
no,
No,
not
Daisy-
Daisy. Daisy's with William. Get out of here. I'm talking about she's in like season 4.
But initially she liked Thomas.
Not Thomas, Tom.
Okay.
And then Mrs. Baxter, not Baxter. I like Baxter.
Oh, Edna? Marianne?
No, who is Thomas's partner in crime at the beginning? O'Brien.
O'Brien.
Screw O'Brien.
Yeah.
Yes, Tom Branson. Thank you, Branson is what I meant. Do you know what I like? Oh, Uwe was probably my biggest surprise. You're right. Man Called Uwe is my biggest surprise. The best is Lady Violet. And I'll argue with you. Like, get out of here, Samwise. I know you're not out here talking about how Lady Violet's not the best. I love
Lady
Smith.
Violet is like superior character. That character is just written for her.
I don't think there's a single fantasy book that I've read that I would be sad if Lady Violet just made a cameo. Like just came in, like looked at a scenario, made a sarcastic, pretentious quip, and then just left. Like I'm not sure every book can't be improved. Rory, you're writing a sequel, make it happen.
Quick question, Alan. Would you say that a fair description of Remains of the Day would be a British version of stoner?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. I'll give it a
Anyway,
try.
all right. So moving on. What's next? Biggest disappointment. I'll go ahead and do this one. I'll leave CTG for Anitha. The biggest disappointment is like, guys, everyone talks about Con Eagleton all the dang time about how Con Eagleton, he's such a good historical fiction writer. Okay, why is Nero so bad? Like Nero has gone down. Like Claudius the God is exactly where I put it when I finished reading it, near like the bottom. But Nero, I like it less the more I think about it. Like, they have got to stop writing these historical fiction novels, calling them one thing like I, Claudius or Nero, and then not having those people be the main character in the book. Like, I, Claudius isn't about Claudius. It's not about
It's
Claudius
about
at all.
Livia.
Yes, it's about Livia and the Julio-Claudians prior to Claudius. Nero is not about Nero. It's about Agrippina the Younger, and not even in a good way. I don't like the way Claudius is portrayed in it. Agrippina and Nero did not go with Claudius over to Britain when he was... No way. There's no way Agrippina would have dragged her son Nero over into the battlefield in Britain. No. I don't like it at all. I don't know why he chose to tell the story like that. And it's really disappointing because I heard Eagleton is really good.
He's not, though.
He's not? Thank you, Klaus. Klaus, this is... See,
Klaus is the only one being honest on the internet.
I know, the truth is about Klaus here. Klaus has to be here where, hey guys, I heard this. Klaus says, no, not at all. And I'm like, thank
We
you,
missed you,
Piercing
Klaus.
that veil.
We need to come back.
I mean, I only read like one book by him, which was like Wars of the Roses something, and that was like completely wrong in how people were portrayed, so I don't like him.
Okay, well, then now I know. But I did not enjoy Nero at all. And that makes me sad because I have his like Pericles books. And that's gonna make me super mad if you jack up my boy Pericles. So anyway, you know what made Nero better? If while they were over there conquering Britain, frickin' Lady Violet had busted on that battlefield and been like, ooh, look at all these Romans. And made it significantly better. What is a weekend? There you go. 0 people on rollerblades. So I haven't read a Dritz book since 1,000 Orcs, which is the 1,000 pages of the same thing happening.
Is it orcs running through our field of flowers?
I wish. Hold on. What is this? White Silence. Yeah, Klaus has a very high asphyxiation. Biggest disappointment. There you go. Wind and Truth. There we go. Boom. Have you read this yet, Klaus?
No, don't think so.
Have
ever
you
read
read
Wind and Truth yet?
Oathbringer or Oathbreaker? What is book 3?
Oathbringer. Yeah.
I haven't finished Oathbringer. I've just started it, and then I had a big reading slump because it's like 5,000 pages long, and yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So, Tori, I have heard that his Genghis Khan books are the best of what he has written. So if I try Con Eagleton again, it will be one of the Khan ones.
Isn't that the fantasy though that he did, or is that a different series?
I think it's a historical fiction. Afterworld, Dowry of Blood. I don't talk you. I explain. Find something to do. That's what she says to Agrippina in that. Quit freaking moping around and find something to do. What do you mean I have a no girls allowed sign on my bookshelf? Oh my gosh, Mitch. Guys, every now and then. First of all, you can't even do that. Guys, every now and then when I do a top 10, I get a comment that says, oh, of course, nothing but white male authors on this list. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, what do you want from me? First of all, Liv Constantine is not just one woman, it's 2 women. And I read freaking Gone Girl, which not only has girl in the title, but also is like...
But the girl is gone, so it doesn't count.
Yeah,
It doesn't count. The girl is gone.
Gillian Flynn is a lady. Hold on.
Girl is gone.
Hold on. Ursula K. Le Guin, that's a girl.
And you hated it.
I mean, that's true. But I
Spoiler
love
alert for the next
Baby
person.
steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
That's right. Get out of here.
Now you just need to read Kindred and you're good.
Oh, sorry. And my other biggest disappointment was Project Hail Boring. I was on BookTube when everyone was losing their mind over that book. Like everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, 5 stars, Project Hail Mary. You have got to read this, but don't even read the back. Don't let anything spoil." I read that. I DNF'd it at 80% because I'm like, what is the big, like, what is the don't read? Oh, you mean, okay, so it's that? Yeah, I did that. I got to that point 40% ago. And so I literally just read the synopsis of what happens in the last 20%. Don't even care that I didn't finish reading it because I was more interested in how it ended than the insufferable way that story was told. What is wrong with everyone on BookTube who was like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, Project Hail Mary, Project Hail boring." You know what made that better? If on that spaceship, Lady Violet had woken up from and been like, "Where are we? I hope they packed tea on this voyage." Anyway. Let me mute Anita. All right. Pete, go ahead.
I mean, I could say Nearer as well, but I DNF'd it. So I will go with Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn, simply because of the 3 books in that series, of which I didn't read the other 2 yet. I didn't remember anything that happened in this book because this was a reread. Everything that I remember from how awesome this series was from books 2 and 3. So that made the first book kind of like, oh, okay. So
Matt, I love Justice of Kings, and I agree the sequels were disappointing, and largely because it went in a direction that I didn't particularly want it to go in. I think Grave Empire is a really good start to the new series, and if he continues to walk the line that he's walking, I think it'll be even better than the first series. It is possible it could steer too far in one direction, in which case, again, I'll be like, no, go this way. I need to hit him on Twitter and be like, add Lady Violet into this like, and everybody will ignore it. You're right. I didn't like KJ Parker till they discovered that it was Tom Holt as a man. When people thought it was a woman, I didn't read him. Rhythm of War. I don't know why she's gonna be gone. Yeah, Ursula K. Le Guin, that's a girl. Thank you, Peter.
Oh, I'm not actually just leaving. I'm being completely replaced by somebody with the same name.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, Peter, get on here. Get out of here. Hold on. Peter, someone send Peter's link. Get him on here to finish this out. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let me go read Emily Henry.
He likes women.
So yes, I teach my classes like this. You can decide for yourself whether that's a good thing. Or rather, I teach my class like this when I'm talking about, like, I'm adding Lady Violet into my Alexander the Great lecture tomorrow.
Heck yeah.
In fact, when Alex defeats Darius's forces at Issus and ends up capturing Darius's mother and wife, I'm literally going to make his mother Lady Violet. Sisagambus is going to be, oh, hello, who are you? Little short Macedonian man. Anyway. Whose turn is it? Evie? I mean, no, Anita?
Okay.
No, it's Pete.
No, I went.
Oh, you did?
It's
Oh,
Ethan.
never mind.
He said Thrawn.
What did he say? What did he say?
Heir to the Empire.
Oh, yeah,
I
Thrawn.
was
Yeah.
listening to Pete.
Wait, that was a disappointment? I thought you liked that.
I'd forgotten all
That
of
was
it.
disappointing. Yeah.
It was disappointing that I'd forgotten everything that had happened.
Oh,
Everything
Black
that I remember
Company
about
book?
loving. No, this is Star
Thrawn
Wars.
trilogy.
But everything that I remember from the Thrawn trilogy is books 2 and 3, and that's it.
That's right. Okay.
Anita.
All the great stuff happens there.
Okay, there is a reason why I'm in this big slump. Last year, I had a great year. My lowest rating was 3.25. This year, I read back to back, 2-star books. 3 2-star books, thanks to Alan.
By this
Okay,
year,
two stars, thanks to Alan. Okay, one of them is Nero. Alan already talked about it. The book that made me want to kill myself
Oh my gosh.
Is Claudius the God by
It's not
Robert
good.
Graves. Oh my
Guys,
God.
It's not
Guys,
good.
that is such a horrible book. Objectively horrible book. You know,
And everyone
I-
told you to DNF it, Anita, and you still suffered through it.
It
Because
made me
I
want to jump off a cliff, and I didn't even read it.
because I want to know the history part. You know, in that only we see Claudius conquering Britain actually. I wanted to know that information. Anyway, see,
You know, that's Wikipedia, right?
Klaus, reading Tacitus or Suetonius is better than reading Claudius the God.
Okay. Okay.
that is such a horrible book, guys. I don't give like 1 stars to books. I always try to find something to like in a book, but Claudius the God is so objectively, but there is no coherent thought from author. He starts talking about something in the middle of the paragraph. He was like, oh, I need to tell you guys about something else, and he jumps, and
The thing is,
suddenly,
he barely talks about his reign, like his government.
Yes.
Like he barely talks about that. The only interesting part of Claudius the God is the part about Herod Agrippa, about how he grew up with Herod Agrippa and his relationship with Herod Agrippa. I thought that was really interesting, and you get significantly less of that in Suetonius and Tacitus. But you know, Herod Agrippa dies like 100 pages into the book, and then it's like, okay, what's the rest of this garbage about? Oh, we're going to spend 8 pages on what the festival is like. Oh my gosh. You remember that, Anita?
yeah.
You remember like
You know,
just
they go to battle to conquer Britain, and it's not about battle strategies or the battle. They talk about what rituals
Oh,
they follow before
oh
battle.
my gosh, you're
Oh my
right.
God, that was so. Oh my God, I can't tell you.
Burn it. It's not
Yeah,
a good book.
you know, at least in I Claudius, though it is about Livia, we get to know who is Claudius, what he is as person. We know something about it, but in Claudius the God, we don't see any of his reign. So, and you know, okay, one thing interesting and at the same time frustrating is he talks about, you know, starting of Christianity as a religion, and they don't know, I mean, nowhere it's mentioned Jesus, but they talk about there is prophecy like God returns or something, so there is so much talk around that. It was very interesting to me, so I continued to read. At the same time, it was so irritating, the way he wrote that. Actually, horrible book.
All right.
And number
Easy.
2, can I talk about?
No.
Oh, I didn't do the second one?
You burned up all of your time on Claudius the God. Evie?
So this is an actual disappointment. It's not a bad book, and I think because I have loved everything else that I've read by Marianne Enriquez, Our Share of Night was a disappointment for me. Her short fiction just works much better for me than this massive, ridiculously way too long.
Hold on, wasn't that Ghost book by Catherine Arden? Didn't you DNF that? Wasn't that a disappointment?
I did DNF it, but I actually came back to it and I read it and I finished it before the end of the year and I actually really liked it.
I got
4
you.
stars. So
Hey Anita, do you know what would make Claudius the God better?
DNFing.
Lady Violet.
Lady Violet, yeah.
Klaus.
O'Brien too, probably.
Yeah, most likely.
O'Brien reincarnated.
Yeah. So mine is Die Familia, also by Lee Bardugo, which was
The highs and the lows.
which was a new release and which should have been right up my alley because it's a histfic. It takes part in Spain during the Inquisition, and basically it mixes up histfic and fantasy because the main character can do some kind of magic. And then there's this Familiar, so it's a love story because the Familiar is like that. It's basically the Darkling from Shadow and Bone. But she's not the Darkling, he's the Familiar for some reason. And they have a horrible relationship because she is like 16 and he's 1,000 years old. And it doesn't make sense. None of the characters are interesting. There is kind of a trial that they have to fulfill, and the trial is like the most boring trial ever. There is no tension whatsoever. None of the characters are interesting. The writing is horrible. Like I can't understand how this was written by the same person that wrote the other books I loved by her. So it was horrible. Very, very disappointing indeed. Yeah.
What was? Did you say the name of it?
The Familiar.
Oh, The Familiar. Okay.
Yeah, so it's in 16th century Spain, I think. Philip II is king in the book, so should be beginning of 16th century.
Is it worse? Is it better or worse than Rule of Wolves?
It's worse than Rule of Wolves, because in Rule of Wolves I was still like interested in the world and the characters. And this should have been right, I think, because that is my time period that I'm kind of most interested in. And she just destroyed it. It was just completely bad. Completely bad.
It was so bad that Klaus warned me against reading it because we had very similar thoughts about Six of Crows and Shadow and Bone trilogy. He was like, Anita, don't read.
Do
Don't
you like
read.
Six of Crows, Anita?
Yeah. Six of Crows is great. Crooked Kingdom is great. Shadow and Bone is okay as a YA. Everything else just 9,000 is good, but the other terrible. Yeah.
Mitch, I also like. I liked Butcher's Crossing, but significantly less than I liked Stoner and Augustus. Aslan disappointed by Bloodsworn. Dang, worse than Rule of Wolves. All right, Charmaine.
I didn't really have any disappointments. I'm gonna yield the floor to Anita so she can tell us her second round.
All right, Anita, what's your second one?
Okay. Sorry. Sorry, K Fox. That stupid encyclopedia of stupid fables.
Yes.
Oh my god. I can't. First of all, that is classified as romance. Mistborn has more romance than the stupid book. It doesn't have romance at all. It just has a male character, female character. Just because they talk, it's not romance. And number two, oh my god, it's so insufferable. The band, I don't know what other wants. Maybe in the second book, she wants to turn it to romance or something. So there is a lot of focus on the banter instead of the world and the mystery. That is way reduced, like last 10 minutes fast happens, and the forced banter without romance, just male character, female. At least if there is romance, we can read something about it. That is also not there. Such a boring character work. Oh my god, I wanted to, sorry about getting violent, I wanted to punch those characters.
Anita
Oh my
doesn't
God.
like
It wasn't
the
romance.
K-Fox confirmed.
Yes.
All right. And finally, name one book from this year
Well,
would
not
recommend.
finally.
No, second to last.
Oh, sorry. Second
Yeah.
to last. One book from this year you'd recommend to anyone. I guess I shouldn't start. Charmaine.
I'm gonna go just because I've only talked to one other person who's read it, but I'm gonna recommend the Benevolent Society of Ill-Mannered Ladies because there's mystery, there's adventure, there's
Why are they
societal. Because they're in their 40s, unmarried, not listening to their brother, who's supposed to be the lead of the family, but yeah, they're just there's a lot of societal critique, but it's also humorous, and there's a very healthy romance in the
Is that a
background.
book or a series?
It is a serial series. Like you don't have to continue. Like I think you can just read this one if you want, but there is another book coming out.
Right on. Klaus?
A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, which is a young adult thriller detective mystery thing that I liked a lot. And I don't tend to read that stuff, but I was reading some stuff to borrow books to my students so that they can kind of improve their English, and that was a lucky hit, and I really liked it, even though the sequels get worse and really, really bad, but first book is good.
Very cool. That's a cool thing to find books for your kids to read so they can get better at English. I have little Latin novellas I do for my students, and they just won't do it. I'm like, y'all do this, and they just don't. So
Mine actually do borrow them, but I don't know if it helps. We'll see.
Oh.
It's a long-term thing, I think. Yeah.
Rebecca. Rebecca's great. Forgotten to be Spelled, nice. I would also recommend this audiobook to everybody.
Ditto. It's amazing.
Earth Abides, Olveni. What about you, Evie?
Kim, you will be very happy. Nation by Terry Pratchett. It is a non-Discworld book. It is quote unquote written for young readers, but I genuinely think it is a book for all ages. I was only halfway through it, and I bought a copy for my boss's son, who is 11. And I think it is such a beautiful story about growing up, about friendship, about learning about others, and surprisingly, colonial and anti-colonial themes in there that obviously kids probably aren't going to pick up on too much, but for adults, it's an added bonus. And about religion and faith and belief and society, and there's just so much packed into this short book in such a wonderful way, and I think about it all the time, and I love it.
I still need to read Nation. I like My Cousin Rachel. I like Rebecca more, but I like My Cousin. I've read 3 Daphne du Maurier's, and Jamaica Inn is the creepiest, but also the most boring. Like, oh my gosh, like a sequel to Project Hail Mary. So,
I will attest to the Flowers for Algernon, the other one that Joanna mentioned.
all right, Anita.
This is the toughest question. Actually, I can't decide.
You've had all this time to decide.
Yeah, but I barely read. I read 16 books this year, and out of them, 3 are like stupid books.
I haven't read this one yet, Marianne. I just read Jamaica Inn. The end is super creepy. I love it, but it's garbage.
Is it a Tchaikovsky book?
I would recommend Final Architecture
There you
trilogy
go.
for any sci-fi fans, or if you want to, if you are into history, I would definitely recommend I, Claudius to give it a try. It is though Robert Graves' writing is dry and though sequel is horrible, I, Claudius is a fantastic so Class is not liking it, but if you don't know history, it is such a great introduction to history, especially the initial 3 emperors of Rome, into how Augustus and Tiberius and Caligula reign was, and before Claudius became the emperor. Or you can give this a try. Forest of Enchantments by
Cut that out,
Chidamani
Peter.
Srivastava.
All right, Peter's in
By
my
the way,
bag.
Klaus, do you know the story of
I gave 4 stars to I, Claudius, by the way. So
Oh, right on.
Do
Okay.
you know the story of 3 Little Pigs?
of course I know that. I read that, by the way, yesterday in Discord.
Yeah.
It's a German folktale, so I should know that.
Oh,
Yeah, Anita.
I get
Pigs
these
are
references.
German.
All right, Pete.
All right, so Anita stole Final Architecture from me. So I will also go. I'll probably have 2 other ones to talk about. One is Ogres by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I read that this last year. It's a short story
Really?
by him. Really
Novella.
good. Really, it's a novella. Thank you. Same difference. What? Yeah. Ogres is a nice
Ogres.
like slow burn about this society that Tchaikovsky is building out for you. It feels very Robin Hood-esque from like the very beginning. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. The second one would be The Word for World is Forest
Oh
by
my gosh.
Ursula K. Le Guin. I think that
Well, oh no, we've lost sound. Oh, what happened? What happened to the mic? All right, Pete, talk about your Le Guin book.
so. This is I was talking about this with K Fox and Joanna on a stream that we were doing, and we kind of
keep doing that.
came. Yeah, it was fun. But like Word for World for Forest is a nice entry into Le Guin's sci-fi. It kind of gives you a little bit of some of the topics she likes to explore, even though it may be it may have been what it inspired James Cameron's Avatar films. It's still really good. And
I'm sorry, James Cameron Avatar films are just a ripoff of Ferngully: The Last Rainforest.
I said that. Yeah, I agree.
Which came first? Word for World is Forest or Fern Gully?
The word for world is boring.
I think you would like it a lot more than the Dispossessed, honestly.
I mean, does anything happen?
Yes, lots of stuff happens. It's a
Then
show,
yeah.
it's a novella. A lot of things. Yeah, you would have a time with it actually.
Pete, your quota for Legwin is over. For next question, you can't talk about Dispossessed again. Oh, Wind and Truth again. Better Dispossessed.
All right. So mine is actually a nonfiction, and really it's more. I recommend it to all Americans. Europeans, you guys have. Well, no, you guys are.
Why can't I
slavery
read?
under the problems too.
We are sliding downhill as well. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
It's called Our Own Worst Enemy by Tom Nichols. It is a book about how it's what's I don't know what the subtitle is. Something about undermining democracy from within. About how we just decide because we are a stable, rich nation that we decide we're bored and we don't actually like stable systems of government, and so that and a narcissistic culture starts a downslide of principles. And what I love about it is Tom Nichols manages to codify and put in writing many complaints, disparate complaints that I've had about, why we're not talking about politics, guys. I'm just talking about the political systems in general, about how, why corruption exists, why corruption's allowed to exist, how the founding principles of any democracy or republic, like the ancient Greeks and Romans had, is a system that has to be founded on shared virtue.
Mhm.
And that's what happened. That's what happened to Athens, and that's what happened to Rome. And when that shared virtue is, because there's not a rule for everything. So many things are just, the Romans called it the mos maiorum, which is the traditions that were just understood, that this is just understood. Like there's no real law against it, but this is just understood how it goes. And if there's no shared system if we're not pulling together, then people can exploit these systems that are not that are understood rather than codified. And because it doesn't matter, because no one cares. Like they don't have the same shared virtue that it takes. Like you can't have a democracy or republic without a shared system of virtue. Like the laws are meant to govern a virtuous populace. And it's just really, really, really good, no matter what your political affiliations are. You may not agree with everything Nichols posits. I don't agree with every single conclusion that Nichols comes to, but two concepts: amoral familism, where morality doesn't matter. All that matters is that you and yours get yours, and screw everybody else. And there was another concept that I've forgotten. I've written it down. It's just really, really, really good. For anybody who, cares about, like, if political systems aren't interesting to you, then, don't read it. It's not for you. But it's not an overtly political book. It's just about, guys, like, we should try to live virtuous lives.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Anyway, it was just really, really, really good. And it was,
Yeah.
just listen to it on a whim, and then I recommended it to Pete, and then Pete loved it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got into like this whole depressive spiral this year because I was way too involved with politics online, and the two things that I pulled me out of the depressive spiral was, of course, getting off of disconnecting, but also this book and just like listening to it on a really long car ride. And it was.
Can you repeat the name
It's
again?
called Our Own Worst Enemy by Tom Nichols. And Pete's a dirty hippie. And so if both Pete and I both like the same book, you can tell it's not political. Because if it was too far one side, then Pete would hate it. And if it's too hippie, I wouldn't read that crap. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a like it's not just like, and so we should just be hippies and live in a commune. And it's also not like, no, you do it yourself. I did it myself, or whatever. Anyway, I just thought it was really good, especially for our time. And that's like Europe. You guys are going through similar stuff right now too. Perhaps not to the degree we are, but I mean, you guys
No.
are.
No.
You guys are going through some. It's just a weird time for liberal democracies, and by
India
liberal
is
I mean the political. I mean the poli-sci term of liberal, not the American political party liberal. Because if you say that, people all of a sudden are like, "Oh, that's not what I'm saying." Liberal democracy. That's Western style democracies. Then,
Yeah.
If that should go better. Yeah, what?
Yeah, I don't have any stocks on right now.
Pete, how do you feel about Amazon?
Oh, it's terrible. They're
Why?
this nation and this
Why?
world.
Why?
Because they're just so exploitative, whatever the word is.
How often do you say the terms late stage capitalism?
Not that often, actually.
Yes, I know, but how often do you think about late stage capitalism?
Not that often.
Really?
Yeah.
Define often.
All right. Well,
How often per minute?
You're not quite hippie enough then.
I am less hippie than you think I am.
Yeah.
I don't know what
What?
you're saying.
Shared Wi-Fi that you steal from the chicken farm next door.
You
Anyway,
mean the free range Wi-Fi?
it's the free range Wi-Fi between two fires. Guys, it's Pete. That's what a hippie is. It's Pete. No, the real hippie is Kim. Kim's the Pete.
It's true. Kim's the hippie.
Kim's the hippie. Anyway,
Let's go
what
back
a good
to that
question.
question.
Hold on. What's everyone looking forward to reading the most in 2025 before we move on to the last question? We're good on time, guys. We've been 1 hour and 20 minutes. We got one question left. Look at this.
This one. Guys, everyone join this read along. I started last night. It is so good. I can't tell you. You don't even have to read the entire book, just to read this paragraph, that like first paragraph before even the plot starts. The authorial voice is so strong. It is so good, actually. Join the read along in Alan's Discord. Every single person who started reading this book is enjoying the book. Nobody till now complained about the book.
Yeah, it's good. I'm eager to see where it's going to end up. Lonesome Dove,
excited.
very cool.
I am excited to read the rest of the Earthsea books because I read A Wizard of Earthsea. That was my last book of the year in 2024. Immediately read Tombs of Atuin. Really just want to read the rest of the series right now, but I think that's why I'm going into a reading slump, because I'm reading things that I want to read, but I really just want to read Earthsea right now. So, yeah.
Wind and Truth. Tchaikovsky's a 170 what? IQ?
I wouldn't be
That wouldn't
surprised.
surprise me.
I mean,
Surprise
even
me
though
either.
IQ is a crappy statistic.
There you go, you freaking hippie. Shut up. Oh my gosh.
So I'd love to read The Winds of Winter, but I don't think we'll get that again. And also Doors of Stone, which we are also not getting again, and also whatever the Emberlane book in the Locke Lamora series is called. But
There's
I
novellas
thought you were
coming out
getting that one
I
this
think,
year.
right?
We're getting novellas this year. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, but cool. I mean, I look forward to Saga Volume 12 because that's definitely coming out, and the others, I don't think we'll ever get these books.
I still have Tainted Cup Annette on my neck gallery. I'll read it eventually.
The other day, like when Friday, I went out with Sal. We went to a coffee shop. One girl is reading Tainted Cup. I was like very excited. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm done with my things.
All right.
Chadman, did you?
I like
answer-
how your first three, Klaus, were the books that you're excited to read but aren't going to get to.
Yeah, like ever in my life, literally never in my life, I'm going to read these books. It's just.
But Brandon Sanderson could finish Song of Ice and Fire, right?
Do you
That'd
want me
be
to come to
interesting.
America and punch you in the face, Ellen?
No.
You know what?
Like-
I
Wait,
take
but that would mean you would come to America.
that's what I'm saying.
So
Afterward, we can
But no,
play some football.
no, there are too many guns in your country. I'm not coming over there. It's way too dangerous.
Not in my house. I don't have any. They're too loud.
So Sanderson is the worst person to finish Song of Ice and Fire, and I don't think anybody should finish Song of Ice and Fire except George R. R. Martin. Definitely not.
especially the first part. Sanderson should never touch.
No way should he touch that.
That is Anita spelling mistake. I understood. I typed myself so many
Right on.
times.
Anish, Boudica. I'm pumped to see Boudica also. Yeah, we are getting this.
Lives of Bitter Rain, prequel
Yeah.
to Days of Shattered Faith,
When is that coming out? Do you know?
December.
Oh, well.
I think it's taking the place of another Tyrant Philosopher's full novel.
Oh, right on. I'm hoping the next Witness book comes out. Nice, Grey Coats. Nice. Nice, Albert.
Not Abercrombie, no. Daniel
Uh,
Abraham maybe, but not Joe Abercrombie.
I am with Klaus. Maybe first. I mean, if Daniel Abraham, no one else.
you haven't even read them.
But
You
I
don't-
haven't.
You don't get a vote. You don't get a vote. Charmaine, what are you most excited to read this year?
Okay. I think all the books like in the series that I'm in the middle of. So right now I'm reading Lightbringer. I'm really enjoying that. I'm excited to continue on with The Expanse, and then the sequel to the Ill-Mannered Ladies.
I would say Grave Empire, definitely, and then the Scavenger Trilogy at the very end of the year.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah, more Parker.
Scavenger's gonna be so fun.
Evie? Skip Evie.
What?
Did we skip
Evie!
No, for the recommendation? No, I already said mine. Nation.
Oh,
No,
what you're most excited to read this year?
Oh, no, I said Earthsea. The rest of
Oh,
Earthsea.
that's right. I'm probably most excited to. What am I most excited to read? I'm probably most excited to finish Shadows of the App, TBH.
Yeah.
Lies of Locke Lamora.
Lies of Locke Lamora. I read the first 230 pages of, really liked it, and then stopped reading it because of stupid 3-body problem, and I haven't gotten back to it. 3-body problem was not as good as Lies of Locke Lamora was.
Can I answer? I did not answer technically.
Yes, you did. You said mechanical.
Technically.
That is promoting your read along. That is not my answer technically.
That was sponsored.
She's really
Empire
brought to you by Big Alan.
Oh my gosh. Go ahead, Nina.
Okay. I have so many answers, but I'll restrict myself to one. I'm going to restart Dagger and Coin, reread first 2 books, and finish that 5-book
That's a good
series.
choice.
That is my goal actually, because I loved the first book. Maybe I loved it more than first book of LPQ. Fantastic first book in epic fantasy.
It's a good series.
Yeah.
All right, and our final question is, what's your favorite book of the year? I am eschewing this one because you'll have to watch my top 10 video to see what my favorite book of the year was. Pete's also doing it because you got to tune into his top 10 video, see what his favorite book of the year was. Anita, what's your favorite book of the
You
year?
know what, Pete? You can answer because you are going to post your top 10 of 2023 first. By the time you post 2024, we'll forget this.
Spoilers.
Anita, what is yours?
I haven't decided. That's why I did not film yet. So, sorry.
Tune in.
Evie?
Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler.
Yes. Ouch.
Days of Shattered Faith, very good. Shards of Earth.
This is utterly and absolutely fantastic. I have a video where I talk about kind of incoherently gushing about this series, but essentially it is everything that I want in a book, epistolary, philosophical and like religious aspects to it.
Did you read the sequels?
There's
There's
just
only one sequel.
Oh, did you read the sequel?
I did.
Yes.
Yep. And
Yeah.
it's just as good. That's the one. So Parable of the Talents is the second one, and that's the one where people say, "Oh, she told the future."
Oh.
That's a stretch. But this starts on July 20th because it's told in journal entries, and it starts on July 20th, 2024.
That's wild.
So, fun fact. And it was written in the 90s.
Hi, Derry.
Derry.
Joanne, I was gonna film my I was going to film that video yesterday, and I did not because I'm sick. So I'll film it when I'm not dead. Klaus, what was your favorite book of the year?
Saga Volume 7, I think. I don't know. I just checked my Goodreads. I gave it 5 stars and wrote down it was like a life-changing experience or something like that. So it must have been pretty good. I'm not sure what exactly happens in it because like all these series is sort of mixed in my head because I read it all in once in like 2 weeks. So, but I think it is the one that deals with abortion and stuff, and it's just it touches on so many important topics, but it does it all in such a funny way, and it always like it's not just the language; it's also like the comic aspect of it. So the pictures and stuff that really add something to it. So I've read a lot of comics and graphic novels this year, where it's just I feel like it should have just been a book, but Saga really also has like amazing visuals, and that's I think the best of the series so far.
How much time do you have to read during the school year?
This school year I actually had not a lot of time, but I read 70 books this year, so those are a lot of books. And during the school year, I find time at the moment because I don't have like the upper classes. I have just one course from the 3 last years, which is lots kind of more work because of corrections and stuff and preparation. And I have a lot of parallel courses. Like I have year 8, I have 2 of year 8 classes, 2 of year 6, so I can sort of do the same stuff with them. So I have kind of half the workload that I should have. So I have time.
Oh, yeah. Right on. Well, Sal said the ending of Volume 7 broke her heart.
Then I know which one it is, and that really broke my heart as well. Yeah, big twist at the end. Yeah.
Charmaine?
I don't know, it's really hard to pick because a lot of my reading was spread out last year. But I think I would pick. I don't have a physical copy of it, but it's called The Prophet Amos by Francine Rivers. It's a historical fiction about the prophet Amos in the Old Testament. That one made me think a lot, challenged me a lot. I don't know, it stuck with me.
She's the author who did
Redeeming Love.
Redeeming Love. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the one about Hosea, right? Redeeming Love.
Yes.
Very cool. There is no difference between this and The Dispossessed. There's no difference between. I'm actually holding my copy.
I thought we'll give it to Claudius the God. Okay.
No. Here you go, Pete. This is my copy. I'm gonna sign it for you and pass it over to you.
Oh.
By the way, Pete, did you answer this question?
Nope.
No, because you
Pete
and Pete skipped it because you couldn't decide.
Figured it out yet.
Yeah. Anyway, so guys, chat, thanks for joining us. You've been great, and thanks for putting y'all's answers out in the chat as well. It's good getting to see what other people think, about their years. Don't be defeatist, dear. It's very middle class. Exactly. So guys, thanks for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you can be notified unless you're Ryan, in which case you won't be notified ever. But otherwise,
everybody, you can change and customize it so it goes to, you have to hit the bell notification like twice. So hit subscribe, you hit the bell, and then hit all. So it notifies everything.
One thing I'm excited to read in 2025 is Three Little Pigs and the House of Hay.
You mean the House of Straw? The House of Broken Straw?
Hay.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, well, thank you guys for your time. Thanks for joining us. When we'll see you next time. Go ahead and wave anything because you never wave till after I hit the end screen.